Mr. Chauhaan.
Thank you,
Welcome to
Ritesh.
BW Web3 3.0 Summit.
Thanks a lot.
So, what are your understanding about Web3 and how you think it would impact the marketing scenario in India of the brands, particularly as the startup sector of the brands?
Absolutely. I think Web 3.0 summit by Business World has been really pushing the boundaries of thought leadership in Web 3.0. I strongly believe that Web 3.0 in general is pushing the boundaries of decentralized digital transformation across industries across the globe. Whether it is retail, whether it is fintech, whether it is other businesses which are more consumer centric, are being disrupted by not just decentralization through blockchain, but also being disrupted through Web 3.0 in various forms and applications. In retail, consumers post-COVID times have been looking forward for three key values: trust, authenticity, and convenience, that have become the forefront values of what consumers are looking forward for making decisions globally. And in that aspect, Web 3.0 and digital decentralization is solving and coming up with newer innovative use cases which fits in the consumer need gap. And from that standpoint, I believe Web 3.0 will continue to disrupt the existing disruptors. So if in the payments industry we saw wallet players and digital payments player disrupt the traditional financial sector, Web 3.0 in general, blockchain and its various other things including cryptocurrency will continue to decentralize the way in which global transactions happen. The erstwhile players like the MasterCards of the world, the bank players, the issuers and acquirers on both sides will have to continue to innovate to find their own space and use cases where they share a pie of this decentralized network. Similarly, in terms of consumer browsing, we have seen the advent and the rise of internet. Internet itself was a disruptor, and the disruptor is there to get disrupted, and that's Web 3.0. Evolution and change is inevitable. However, I foresee that there will be a true coexistence of both the worlds. We will have early adopters leveraging newer technologies at the same time, but we'll also have to build a strong amount of trust in these early technologies for accepting or expecting a large amount of adoption from larger critical masses.
So you talked about the early adopters in the space. So what about the late adopters? How can we bring them on board in Web3?
I think for Web 3.0 or in general decentralized technologies, to say so, three core values needs to be solved. The first and foremost is trust, right? Which essentially means that the ease of onboarding, the ease of usage has to become seamless and frictionless. So whether there's a Web 3.0 application within a financial use case, even within a gaming industry, or in a consumer-centric industry like retail, trust will have to be solved as a core value, which means that consumers will have to have the backing of a larger ecosystem, including regulatory players to a large extent, including governments to a large extent, including private players, to create that ecosystem where consumers feel safe to leverage and use Web3 as a technology, decentralized networks as technology. Once that happens, that would be a critical thing, as we have seen in UPI, how we have seen the adoption of financial technologies and digital payments so fast within the pandemic times. And that one tailwind could do wonders for the adoption of Web 3.0 in general.
So as far as Web3 is concerned, it is decentralized. So how government can track the changes, track the transactions in the space happening. So how it would help, and what is the take about the government and how it could impact startups and in the space, emerging startup in the space?
I think the future of business, as I look in general, is a pure partnership economy, which essentially means that it's a pure collaborative network where governments, private players, and non-profit players, including regulatory agencies, work closely to form a very conducive environment, not just for businesses to operate, but also for consumers to consume. And from that standpoint, the government stance, not just in India, globally, will have to come from the standpoint of enabling future businesses, facilitating future technologies, ensuring that the index of doing good business, index of doing democratized, decentralized business, index of doing truly global businesses, which cuts across borders, is really facilitating. and that allows newer technology players, newer startups, newer innovations to thrive in that environment. Any stance which is too much regulating or any stance which is unregulated, both can cause extreme situations. At one end, consumers will be at a demerit. At other end, the centralized agencies and the regulators may not have that adequate controls and checks and balances. And hence, it is important to be proactive in policy making and accepting these newer technologies, and through proactive policy making, ensure a climate which is conducive for all the ecosystem players.
So, according to you, what are your take on the predictions of like Web3? How are you gonna change Indian?
My prediction for Web3 is threefold. First, assuming that Web3 continues to demonstrate and solve for three underlying values, which is trust, authenticity, and convenience. And that is really, really important for the end consumer. Assuming these three core values are solved and continue to get solved and reinforced for the average consumer, Web3 will have three big changes according to me. One, largely at a meta level, decentralized technologies will continue to disrupt the existing digital transformations across the industry, which essentially means we have seen digital transformations in the fintech space. They will get disrupted through decentralized digital transformations. And that essentially is to drive more economies of scale, deeper inclusion in financial technologies, and also to drive efficiencies in the supply chain of the larger fintech industry. And from that standpoint, one, fintech will continue to get disrupted by decentralized technologies. One, it could be crypto in a certain sense, it could be another nature. That is one. Second big prediction is on the way consumers collaborate globally, what we call as internet. So the Web 2.0 on internet itself, which largely, if you see in the current shape and form, is a larger dominated ecosystem, right? And that's how we have the notion of a deep web and otherwise. Web 3.0 has the opportunity to solve for building trust, at the same time creating a democratized and decentralized network for consumer to consumer connect, enabling the partnership economy. That's number two as a trend. The third big trend, I believe, is that the gaming and all consumer centric industries, including retail, etc., where there is a deeper engagement of consumers, either spending time in digital ecosystems or spending time in digital transactions like shopping, etc. There, both Web 3.0 and allied decentralized technologies will play a strong part in dealing with a lot of existing need gaps in the industry in retail. For example, dealing with luxury counterfeits, leading with building long-term engagement and trust within retail organizations which are facing a large degree of churn. Building loyalty within retail as a use case will get solved through decentralized technologies to a large extent. So I believe from those standpoint, these three big trends I see in the short to mid-term to get solved by Web 3.0.
According to you, what are the tentative timelines can we expect to see the tangible outcomes of Web3 in India?
To really give a right answer to what would be the tentative timelines, which is anybody's guess, same as you. What I could really tell you is those critical levers that would bring this change. And just to reinforce, till the time decentralized technologies, including Web 3.0, blockchain and cryptocurrency, continue to solve for trust and authenticity, including convenience for customers, and get facilitation from a larger ecosystem of regulatory players, government and private players. And the moment that happens to a certain degree of critical mass, the adoption will be much faster. The timelines will be sooner than later.